Good morning, good evening, welcome. Vedanta. Hi, Vedanta.
Good morning. Yeah, again, a lot of energy is moving. And last night it was like, whoa, like electricity and going in every direction. And had just a little sleep. But now my heart is beating strongly again. So I just feel like being a moment with you.
With pleasure.
Yeah.
Is it getting quieter?
Oh yes, my heart still is a bit, but it's much quieter. Yes, yes. And when I just be with you, I would love to say thank you, thank you. What happened the last weeks? It is just such a relief what happens, and I feel like, I don't know, born again somehow. It's really, it's yeah. When I touch it, I just have to go down. It is so deep and so strong. And
Thank you. I just forgot that. Unless you have a really big reason for having your camera off, I love it that you turn your camera on, because it's kind of funny having all these blank spaces that you can't see anybody there. So, yeah.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Liliana, sorry. Liliana, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. So Sunday, you advised me to stay with it, and I did. And I can't say it's gone, obviously, but just now, through being in the space with you and in this form, it showed me that thing's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Like a long time. And I recall it perhaps even 20 years ago.
Yeah. And the good news is when you start to become aware of it, it actually means it's actually on its way to resolving. So
that's great. Thank you.
So it's like, the interesting thing is, if there's a paradox when we want to get rid of something, it gives it energy.
Yes.
When we just gently, lovingly present
Yeah.
and start to just let it reveal itself,
Yeah.
let it show itself, then it's a whole different way of, being with whatever's arising.
Yeah.
Usually when it's uncomfortable, there's almost always an automatic wanting to get rid of it, wanting to change it, wanting to fix it, and wanting to make it mean something about ourselves. And all those movements are the movements of identification. They're movements that actually make it, the experience, more horrific, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like really learning to surf in a very gentle way, just to hear. And, to even be with it with an agenda to get rid of it, also an error.
Yes.
So there's
Yes.
lots of little learning possible.
Yes.
And we just, and so we are dealing with information from, we don't know how many generations back.
No.
And also, so.
And I don't need to know. I don't really want to know. If it's gonna show, that's fine and good. Thank you for teaching that, because it felt quite empowering. Even during the session, although there was a bit of a abandonment, which I recognized, and I thought, no, just hang in there. And it actually helped me throughout, even though it was only Sunday. It helped me out throughout since then, because something came in and it just felt so frightening, and I thought, no, just be with it, and then it just calm down.
Yeah.
Oh. Bit of fun. There's a jaw thing happening now as well.
Yeah, just the same thing, just gently noticing. It's great that it's noticed. Yeah, just okay.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. It was so, you used the word surfing, and it was so obvious how you wanted to be at the forefront of something. And I remember you mentioning bringing yourself to the moment in the now. And I was gently doing that, or as gentle as I can perceive now. And he kind of was okay with it. And kind of revealed a little bit more about something else of the history, but that's no here, no there.
Mm-hmm.
Does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Isaac.
Mm. Judith.
Hello.
You're welcome to speak and no need.
Mm. No speaking today.
No speaking. Love and more love.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Ah, Nashma. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
Good.
But just close the window. It just felt to connect.
Mm.
And the last week I had a shoulder injury, some smaller one. I needed some physiotherapy. But it showed me that people said a few times my back wasn't straight. But somehow I always pushed up my shoulders a bit to get it more straight or to in the plexus or something like that. And now I do understand after being told a few times to put the chest more up front and let the shoulders, shoulder blades drop, so to say. And feels really different. And it's also something about unburdening the shoulder or some weight of it.
Mm.
So, shyness is there suddenly getting red in the face, warm in the body. Yeah, now connection is happening and flow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Najma. Yeah. Your computer sounds like it's going to take off any second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just making sounds. Yeah.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Najma. Samuel. I see you. Can you see me?
Yes.
Very good.
It feels like flipping between thinking I know what's going on and realizing I have absolutely no
No
clue
idea.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, Nika. Hey, Nika.
How are you?
Mm,
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Just to sit.
Yeah. What are you sensing in the body?
Sensations,
Mm-hmm.
energy, quiet.
Lucky. Beautiful. Thanks, Nick. Isabella.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi. 1 second. Good. I've now
Can
got
you
you
hear
full
me?
screen. I hear you and I see you.
Great. Okay. Uh, I have some things going on, and I wanted
Ah.
to. Okay. So currently, even in the present moment,
Mhm.
it's like almost like, okay, it's all energetical, I know that, but just to express it in words,
Okay.
it's like almost not forgiving myself.
Sorry, it cut out for a second. Could you say that last sentence again?
Not
It's
forgiving
almost like.
myself, not forgiving myself,
Mhm.
because I don't seem to respond to people's expectations, or someone has an expectation from me and I'm not able to respond back to that expectation. And then I see this, like this fight inside of me. Why can I not answer to that expectation? Why cannot just answer and that's it? It would be so easy.
So is that also an expectation?
Probably. I'm just angry at me.
So are there two yous?
No, to whatever. I know it's imaginary and.
Yeah, but let's just, we're taking a moment, yeah? So anger comes up, and then somehow it wants to have a reason or a cause or.
But if something depends on it, on the way I am reacting to it, it's like I'm the cause of it.
Is that true?
Or the
If
reaction I have is the cause of it.
well, if I think for all of us, maybe we can look together when we're approached with an expectation that's loaded. that's charged, highly charged. And nothing can really respond in the way that the expectation wants.
Yeah, but it's
Even
charged.
even if it tries to, it can't respond with the whole heart.
True, but
Yeah.
now it's charged with, not with control as it used to be, but it's charged with pain and suffering and sadness. And I can feel all that.
Yeah.
I can feel that through the expectation, the pain,
So
the
this,
sadness.
you know, this is the thing. It's like, it's interesting to look as human beings, as this expression called. So, where do the strongest expectations arise?
From where, you were saying?
With whom?
With whom?
I mean, yeah, with who? With who do the strongest expectations arise? Like, do we have big expectations of the postman, or unless you're married to the postman?
Well, usually it's with the closed ones.
With the close ones, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it can be
what do you call
family, or it can be friends, or it can be in a relationship, or
Yeah. So, and the expectations with our children, are they the same as like the expectations with our partners? Or
no, with the children, like it's very pure.
it's pure. Okay. And then with our parents, maybe there's expectations too, but they're different, yeah?
Yeah.
So the strongest is usually if we have an intimate connection that's gone in the direction of that we have the consideration that we're in a relationship. That's where the strongest expectations arise.
Probably.
Because, because what is a relationship? Somehow we meet someone and we start having agreements, yeah? Spoken and unspoken agreement. Okay, so now we're going to be together, and oftentimes it moves in the direction, you're mine, you belong to me now. Not to anybody else, you mine. And part of the agreement then is, it's like, I will try and take care of your wants and needs, and you have to take care of my wants and needs. And as long as you take care of my wants and needs, I won't go anywhere else. But if you don't, then I have the right to be upset.
It's deeper than that.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
In a way that I'm more relaxed with this right now that I used to be 10 years ago.
So this is the thing, is like the moment we enter into that, looking at life through that filter, yeah? Now, it's not, we're just relating, and we're relating as unconditional love.
Yeah.
we're relating as through this filter, you're mine. And we have a contract. You have to take care of my wants and needs. My wants and needs for attention, for company, for sexuality, for whatever and so we make that kind of contract, yeah.
Yeah, but today, in the present moment, I'm talking about today.
Yes.
I feel like a sadness inside of me that I cannot respond, that I cannot love back in a way.
Yeah.
Like
So,
this love
so,
that I'm expected to give a certain love.
Yes.
And I'm
so
not able to give that love.
Yeah. So what happens when, with the best intention, like an expression of life comes towards us with an expectation? What's it like? What's it like when we come to someone else with an expectation? What kind of energetic happens then?
It's not flowing in a natural way.
It's not flowing. It's not flowing in a natural way, of course.
Yeah.
And so, and behind that expectation is a huge upset.
Yeah.
And that upset generally will project onto that person. So we met in that particular energetic. How does our system respond? Oh yes, great! This is what I've been waiting for all my life. I can't wait. I just make it stronger. It's not like that. Something in us goes, no, look, this doesn't feel good. Yeah, I would love to meet fresh. I would love to meet, without it being in that filter, in that expectation, with the big upset behind it and the blame and the.
But I feel it.
Of course. Of course.
So
it functions the same in all of us.
But I feel responsible that I should respond.
Yeah. So now just be with that. I should respond. And then what happens when you look through that filter? You can't respond because it's coming to you in a very funny way. And your natural response is, no, thanks. I don't want, this doesn't feel good. But then on top of that, then the big upset comes and then tries to make you feel like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And that upset is existential in nature. It's like it's not rational. It's highly charged. In fact, most murders happen within intimate relating because it touches such a painful place. It's like, oh my God, in this dynamic, I'm stuck. Especially look, when we believe that we're responsible for someone else's feeling hurt, immediately we don't feel safe to be authentic.
Yeah, it's like that.
And then even if that person says, I love you, we know we're not being authentic, and we know that love never really pierces us, never really touches us, because we know we're not being true. And then we usually blame the other person for the fact that we can't be ourselves, just the way we are. So it's a funny dynamic that kills intimacy and kills alive, beautiful sexuality. And then we're surprised. Wow, what happened? We were so turned on to each other. We were having such a good time. And now it's just.
So what do I do?
So 1 second, just go back to gallery view for a second. Do that. Go to gallery view. And let's see, how many people recognize what I'm talking about within their own experience? Just have a look around. Few people, yeah, almost everybody. Okay. So you can see how personal it is, yeah? Okay, I'm coming back to just you. Yeah. Oops, didn't do it. Okay. Yeah. So this dynamic plays, and it's not, it comes, it's like, first of all, the first movement into it is we meet someone and our system is upset and we call it love. We can't eat, we can't sleep, we can't think straight, and we say, I'm in love now, yeah? And then another person says, me too, I'm also in love. Okay, let's get together. Okay, so what, yeah. So now we've already entered into this idea that the source of love is coming from outside.
I know it's not coming from outside.
I know you know that rationally, but it's not emotionally how it feels. It feels like this person, I feel this love with this person and no one else. This is so special.
I don't know if I would feel that.
Okay, maybe not. I'm just telling you.
I used to.
Yes,
but
that's what I'm
I
talking
used
about.
to, yes. But today I don't know.
Yeah, today you don't know. So now's now, yeah? So something
Yeah.
is maturing maybe a little bit, but usually when it doesn't work with one person, then we look for the next person to play the same game with.
I think unless
somehow we've seen a little deeper into what's going on.
Yeah. I know I cannot find it with someone else, this love.
And yet at the same time, we long to have a sweet connection where we can have sensuality and maybe sexuality if it's really right, and good company. And
this feels true.
That.
This feels true.
We love this.
Yeah.
Or not. Usually that's, we're social beings.
Even though right now I'm just a bit fed up of this subject.
I understand.
And I'm like, no, I don't want, not even this connection. I don't want it.
I understand. It's too painful. I don't want it,
It's like, I just want to be with myself.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. So that then is the solution, This is too painful. I'll be with myself. But it's still within the movie,
Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
So am I running away? Am I running away from facing it?
I don't know if there's a you that's running away. I just know that somehow life is going down a very familiar pathway that's familiar to most people. And within that pathway, it's not feeling free anymore. It's not feeling beautiful anymore. It's gone into what I call pain ping pong, where it's like, instead of being with each other in a way that's beautiful, we're with each other in a way that's very painful. And it's not so easy to come out.
No, it's not.
No.
And I put pressure on myself. To say, okay, what do I do? It's exactly. It's a doing, like I see it from the mind, and that this is not okay, and what do I do? And like I feel responsible that I cannot answer to that.
Yes, I understand.
So then really, what do I do? Nothing?
You see, And for me, it's not that your mind can answer that question,
No, I know.
you know. So we just hear, and you notice that somehow the way the automatic patterns have been playing has come suffering. It's not easy. And the mind is looking for a solution. It wants to solve it. And it can't. And it's very frustrating, very painful, doesn't know what to do. Whatever it
Yeah,
does.
but I'm upset on myself or of this being that I cannot react to that or
Well, yeah, so, yeah, I understand.
respond to that, not to react necessarily, but to respond to that. And you know, as you say, and to live in the moment, to live in the moment.
Your system is responding to it very authentically. It says no. No thanks.
But then my mind is coming saying, this is not good.
It's not good, yeah, because
if my system responds no,
he'll leave me, and then I'll be responsible, and oh, I'm messing it up, and why can't I just give him what he wants or what he needs?
It's more because I have a child.
I have a child, and for the child's sake, I have to find a way.
Yeah, it's more that than
yes. Yeah.
Because she's top priority for me.
Of course.
So then everything I do for her.
Yeah, that's also something worth exploring.
It's complicated.
So just with that, do you do it for her or for the idea of what it means to be a good parent?
The idea, what it means to be a good parent.
Yes, a little bit of confusion. I do it for her, but actually doing it for an idea, yeah.
Yeah, and also I don't want her to suffer or to be in pain.
And so when life looks through that idea, I don't want her to suffer, what does that do?
It's like I feel I want to protect her.
Yes, I understand. And what does that do?
It does that I cannot allow myself to just be and flow in a natural way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
that idea is more important than just being authentic and real.
She's more important than being authentic.
No, the idea is more important.
Yeah, the idea is more, yeah. Yes, but...
And so here we are, and your mind is trying very hard to figure out
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, good. And thank the mind. Oh, you're working so hard today. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like it's trying to find a solution, a practical solution.
Yeah.
In the practical day-to-day life.
Yeah. So then there must be a problem, yeah. Because if you're looking for a solution, then there has to be a problem. And the problem is somebody's unhappy with me.
Yes.
Because of that, my daughter's going to suffer. So how can I?
Yes, it's a whole story. Like I have to respond to this, and if I don't respond in the way I should respond, then my daughter is going to suffer. Yes. That's the story.
And so that's a very beautiful way to put pressure, on yourself. Yeah, it's fantastic. I don't know of a better way to put pressure on.
Yeah.
And who would you be without that pressure?
Well, I know what I am without that pressure because I've already experienced it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then when you just rest, and here you are, and you're in a circumstance, nobody's wrong, nobody's right. There's just, you're touching some really old dynamics that has played between between men and women, in not only men and women, men in relating
Yeah.
for generations, and caused difficulty. And so here it is, and it's showing up in your life. It's not personal. It plays almost word for word the same with almost everybody. And now it's your chance.
The problem is it's showing up in my life since a while now, and I just
understand,
did not react to it.
And it keeps getting worse and worse. That's the difficulty.
So it's not new, but
No, I understand.
yeah.
And you know, it can come from, I mean, sometimes it plays one way in us, and sometimes we're on the one side, and sometimes we're on the other side of that same dynamic. And it can flip backwards and forwards. And it's like a very young organization that doesn't feel seen, that doesn't feel heard, that feels like it's never going to get what it wants, and that's going to kill it. So it comes off with such an existential response and upset in this dynamic. But it's a very young organization that's screaming. And we think we're relating to an adult, but we're not. We're relating to a very young organization that feels like it's going to die. And so it's trying everything it knows to get the response it thinks it needs or wants.
Yeah, I can feel this dynamic as well in me from time to time. Yeah.
Of course. It happens, it goes backwards and forwards, like I said.
Yeah.
Because from the other side, when we get, when we get organization, something in us responds also from a very young organization, like, this isn't love. You don't really love me, otherwise you wouldn't treat me like this. This is, it's like it's like a terrible prison in a way.
Actually, the way I feel is that when I connect with someone on this path, in this presence as we are now, I can feel the other being, and I can feel the love, and I can also feel if that being responds to this love. But I do not feel this in this relationship. Like, I don't feel this love.
Because the dynamic is such that, at first it's like that, but then as the patterns start to, as we start to touch this early information from a child where we never got what we needed from our caregivers, then it starts to go down this road that you're on now.
I feel it's attachment from in the relationship, but it's not this love. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. I get it. And it's, it's like this, there's looking for a solution, looking how can I keep at least some way that my daughter can have a stable home or something. What do I have to do? And it's so painful, and it's so far from the aliveness of love.
Yeah, it is. But also his response to me was that I'm bringing on the surface all his pain from his childhood and that he feels abandoned another time by me.
Yeah, so he's seeing that that's what's coming up in him. But somehow his system, at this point, between the two of you, you can't hold it together. And so it gets projected onto you. It's your fault.
Yeah, because he's telling me, take care of me. This is what he's telling
Yes.
me. Take
Yeah.
care of me. Don't
Yeah.
abandon me. Take care of me.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
I
I
feel
understand.
responsible.
Mhm. Yeah. I understand.
Okay.
So this is a nightmare, yeah?
Somehow I feel
And so, yeah, and so something in you blames him for projecting that onto you, and something in him blames you for not giving him what he wants. And so it's like this Mexican standoff. Terribly painful.
I think, well, I feel a bit less pain today because I've been through that 2 months ago. I think it's 2 months ago, where it was more charge. But today is more that why can I not react or respond to his expectations or his demand or his...
So when you're considering that question, what happens in you? Is that a useful question?
No.
No. Why?
Because, well, I can see that it's the mind trying to, and it's not my heart.
Okay, good. So that's good to see that, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
So what would be a useful question? What would be
Well, I know what's in my heart.
So what? Yeah, good. So what would be a useful question then?
To me, a useful question would be no question.
No question. Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's like what I know. The essence of every therapy is loving presence. Not trying to fix anything, not trying to change anything, not projecting that there's anything wrong and that you're going to fix it. It's like, okay, there's a dynamic going on. Nobody's at fault. I'm not at fault. He's not at fault. It's just a dynamic playing. And I'm really curious to be present to it in the way that allows it to reveal itself.
And if it doesn't reveal itself in time,
it has nothing to do with him. It has to do with something in you recognizing that this is an opportunity. That it has nothing to do with him and it has nothing to do with you. This is a dynamic displayed for generations.
Yeah, it's just that I need to take a decision.
I don't know if that's useful either.
But I have to, in regards to the physical moving from a place to another.
It looks like that.
At least for the physical,
It looks like that, but to me, it seems like there's an opportunity here to really, in a way, be in this, that allows to arise, to happen in it. That has nothing to do with any agenda, that just is, okay, there's something playing unconsciously that's really painful for everyone. Your daughter feels it.
Yeah,
Your partner feels it. You feel it. And as long as the mind looks for, on top of what's originally there, there's going to be a feeling of feeling trapped.
But this is playing in my family from generations.
Of course. You saw when we asked, everybody can relate to this, either on one side or the other side of the same dynamic.
And I have both sides, the one from my mom and the one from my dad.
Yeah. This system has played on both sides of that dynamic many, many times.
Yeah.
It knows it very, very well. It knows all the nuances of the story. So then just take a moment. And I'm not saying that this system has solved it or anything like that, but just feeling and just whatever the system has explored around this topic, energetically, just let your system receive it from mine in this moment, not from the mind.
Okay.
Just energetically, another being on the same interest that's explored this quite deeply. That is really burnt in this fire and really explored. See whatever is available from, just to download it. And when you're resting like this, what do you notice, if anything?
This energy between the masculine and feminine.
How would you describe?
Like a learning.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, really beautiful. You see, look, if our parents hadn't made this discovery for themselves, they couldn't have given it to us. So for most of us, we don't have the information to move through this. We don't meet anyone who knows how to move through this. It's just like, so that's why I say, to the extent that this system has learned from being, you're welcome to it. With lack, it moves in the direction of just being on your own feet, being sovereign, yeah? Not giving power away, not taking on other people's pain, but just, and being with, you see, as long as we think I'm responsible for someone else's pain, our capacity to be present to that pain is almost non-existent. We don't have the capacity just to be there and, okay, look, I see this pain happening and I'm here. everything wants to get away from that because it feels responsible. So it doesn't have the capacity just to be, okay, I'm here. I get it. There's pain happening. So it's a big, it's a big opportunity, really. And really, in my view, what it is that our system starts to get the information, because that information happens from that system. It's not intellectual. It's not conceptual.
Yeah. So, just want to ask you something. When his pain and suffering is projected on me, what's happening? What's happening exactly?
Let's slow that down, because is it his pain, or is this the pain from generations back? See, we project
Yes,
it. Okay.
Yes, it's a mix.
Yeah.
It's a mix. I
It's
can
a
see
mix.
it from his
Yes.
childhood and
from his parents and his
Yes,
parents. Okay,
yes.
so to call it his pain already then is, it's an identification. It's not his. There's just an
Okay.
opportunity here for something that has troubled man, womankind forever.
Yeah, but it's also his because I can feel it.
There is no him.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. There's
Um,
just a movement when there's a pain like that to get away from it, which shows up then as a sense of him. But other than
Yeah.
that, there's just a mechanism playing that doesn't belong to anybody.
so what's happening when it's how is it projected on me? What's happening in that movement?
That mechanism, when it doesn't have the capacity to be present to the pain that's coming up, projects it. It always functions that way in everyone, unless there's a deep willingness and maturity to meet it. But for most of us, we never had parents that taught us how to meet stuff like that. There was always some compensation or some way to get away from it, usually is some kind of an addiction. Yeah, compensation. So we never have had the invitation or, like really being learned, you could say, because it is a learning.
Yes.
And it gets entangled and it plays with each other very strongly. And so, it's a beautiful opportunity because, if men and women don't know how to really explore together, especially this stuff,
But it's easy. It feels easy when both of us, we are in this present somehow.
No,
No?
not true. No.
So, okay.
Look, in my experience, I could say like this, I lived together with Micah for 20 years in intimate relationship. And man, we struggled. We were caught in this dynamic for years. It was so painful. And we didn't know who to talk to. We tried getting sessions. We just didn't know who had actually managed to come through it. And so we were struggling with it. It was not easy.
Okay.
And so, I can say when I say I've burnt in this fire, I'm not joking. I've really been in it. And so it came to a point in me where somehow the position that got taken was, look, if we can't work it out, then nobody can. And so we have to work it out. And I'm going to stay here and work it out no matter what happens. So this was like, somehow that's where it went in me. But it put me, I could see that literally this body was going to die, because it was so strong. I could feel it. And it was like, wait a second. I don't know how to come through this. I don't. And so something then let go. It went like, okay, it's not about having to solve this. It's about actually really getting authentic in myself and stop blaming another nervous system or another being for this not being authentic, not being honest, not being vulnerable and truth to itself. And so that was the big step for me, because then it came, okay, look, we've been traveling together, we've been living together 24/7. We've actually had a very good, mostly a good time, but there's been this dynamic playing that has been horrific for both of us. And something went, enough, I can't do this anymore. I'm stepping out of this dynamic. I'm not stepping away from you, to Micah, I'm stepping away from this dynamic. But while I'm stepping away from it, I can't really be around you. I need to be in my own company for a while. And it was very scary for me, because I didn't know if she would leave or what would happen, but I knew there was no other possibility. Such a deep recognition. So I can just tell you my journey, and maybe it's useful to you.
Yeah.
Maybe not. For me, then, when I stepped out on my own and I started getting really honest with myself, wait a second, I've moved into a construct that doesn't feel free anymore, where I do not feel sovereign. I feel bound. I feel in ideas that I never really looked at properly. And I started to really look at all the ideas. What is going on here? And I saw how, something in me had moved into this because it felt like it was going to get security out of it. And it got secure pain. That's what it got. But I've been in it. I've been in that dynamic before, and so always the solution was to so-called split up. But I said, look, I'm not interested in splitting up or anything. I just want to really let this reveal itself. Maybe Micah feels she has to leave. Maybe not. I don't know. But from my side, I'm not. This has nothing to do with Micah, and it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with an automatic unconscious pattern that's been playing in man, woman forever. So then it wasn't like, then the projection onto myself dropped away, because I could see that, like from my side was the side of the expectations and feeling devastated when I wasn't getting, the expectations weren't getting met. And then no matter how I tried to give up the expectations, it never worked. It was like, it's like, I could see it was the expectations that were causing the difficulty, but somehow something didn't know how to come out of that. But the moment something said, okay, look, I'm stepping out of that dynamic, automatically the expectations onto Micah were gone. And I was just with myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And now we live together in the same home, and that same dynamic just doesn't happen anymore. It's quite amazing. We're not sexual anymore, but wow.
Well, I could live like that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, in me, I feel open that if sexuality wants to happen somewhere, that it can, but it's also okay if it never happens. It's like something has come to peace and standing on its own feet. It's, I can just say it like that. But there was just like it was this really steady inquiry. Just, okay, what is happening here? Not outsourcing it, not projecting it onto myself. Just like, okay, there's a pattern, reveal itself. Let it show itself. Not looking for solutions. None of that works. I can tell you, I've tried it. I've tried as many of the variations as I could because clearly I wanted to come through it.
So everything starts with me, not with him.
Not even with you, with patterns.
With patterns, yeah.
You are that awareness which is actually untouched by any of it. And that's you see, that's the paradox, because when you sit quietly and it drops into presence, there is no problem at all.
Yes.
But then you meet each other and it immediately touches that dynamic, and suddenly what happened to the presence?
Yes,
now
it's gone.
It's all gone. It's all gotten entangled again, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it feels terrible. It feels terrible. Look, something went back into this movie that it knows it's a nightmare. And it doesn't know how not to go into it. So it doesn't start with me. It starts with just, okay, look, there's something playing here unconsciously. And I'm really interested in allowing itself to reveal itself to here. The moment it projects onto yourself or onto someone else, then you're back in it.
Yeah, it feels like that.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being so vulnerable and honest in it, because we can go back to gallery view for a second, and we can just ask a question here. How many people got value out of this exploration? Just so you can just show. You can see almost everybody, yeah?
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for the patience.
Yeah, and it's important that you see that your inquiry is actually everybody's inquiry.
Yeah.
You know, and just see that just the willingness to be in this inquiry and be vulnerable in it is beneficial to everybody. That's important to recognize. You know, we take it, I have to be in this for me, but actually we're in this, as I would say, as service, because it benefits all beings. Every being has the same difficulty.
Thank you so much, Isaac.
Yeah, thank you. It's really, I love it. It's
Thank you.
Judith.
Isaac, is it possible that I come back for a moment?
Sure.
There's such a deep touch here.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, and just, if possible, Judith, not to take the touch personally. You know, you can see there's a touch. Yeah, and you didn't ask for the touch. It came by itself in the recognition of some of this dynamic. And
yes, so deeply painful. And I really don't know how to come out.
Yeah, and that's a good place to start, right there. You just don't know. And it's like, okay, so now, and you can see that every movement to try and come out of it
doesn't work.
Yeah.
No.
So now what we're doing is we actually coming out of that cycle of hope and hopelessness. Yeah. Nothing to solve, nothing to fix. just like, okay, it might be this way till we die. Okay. And so how do we be at peace in the midst of this, right? You're coming out of that whole movement. I have to solve it. It's personal to me, all of that stuff. It's just, okay, there's just like these patterns playing that are painful, not personal at all. And who I am is that awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we just, as that awareness, and just watching those movements to want to come out of this, to want to solve it, to take it personally. Just here. It's like that, that when Buddha was sitting and all these old patterns were playing and he put his hand on the ground, he said, I'm not moving, I'm here.
Yeah.
That kind of resolve. I'm here. This can be here forever. I will not move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm that which does not move. The stream of this perfect relationship or the stream of this Hollywood story. I mean, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm here. Moment by moment, available to meet life beautifully, vulnerably, brokenly.
Yeah.
And then what happens is your heart starts to break open instead of breaking shut. Instead of breaking into it, breaks. Okay, wow, I'm here. Let it break. Let it break. Let's see how far it can break. It's a different, yeah. But without being masochistic, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm not moving. Yeah. I'm just here, and I'm holding your hand. Yeah. Right here. It's okay. Yeah. And just, in this moment, recognizing, is this an adult organization or a young organization?
Young. I feel young.
Yeah. Yes, beautiful. So now you just, in that recognition, this is a young organization, you can hold this young one. Just hold, I see you. I'm sorry I haven't been with you before now, but I see you now and I'm with you. So you get to hold yourself here. Yeah. Gently, respectfully, tenderly, not solving anything, just, I hear you, I see you. Which it never got. It never got. And it's been looking for it everywhere. And just recognizing this young one. Okay, I see you. I got you. I'm here. I'm not moving. I get it. I see you. I feel you. So there's no bypassing. There's no running away from this little one. This little one is welcome here. Something happens then because the little one stops outside for something to hold it, starts to recognize, actually, that awareness is what holds it.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be solved. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just resting. Yeah. Just feeling at this moment in my body, there's quite a bit of releasing happening. So beautiful. Maybe you sense it too or feel it. Doesn't matter much. Yeah. And a deep interest to meet the moment as the beloved, yeah. Whatever rises. The stopping of this projection onto ourselves that we could be different or we should be different, and if we were different, all this stuff, and also not projecting out onto anyone else.
Yeah.
It's just like there is no one else, and there is no one here either. So it's just just to see. Okay,
it's such a trap.
Those are
Such a trap on both sides.
Those are just movements to try and come out of this, because not having the maturity to meet it, that's all. It's not a problem. That maturity is, it's, how can I say, it's rare, but it's possible. And it's, it's here now. Yeah. And then just like we're meeting now,
it's integrated
just feeling
at the moment.
Just feel the depth of how it meets itself here now.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah. And it's meeting itself in a way that gives itself what it needs in the moment. It has nothing to do with anything outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for this. And let's go to gallery view for a moment and just ask the same question. Did anyone get value out of this interchange with Judith? Just, just to see. We're all in the same boat, We're all in the same boat. It's like the same movie plays with all of us. It's not personal. It's so not personal.
And such a depth of entrapment. Wow.
Oh, it's like such a depth of despair. It's like really, it's you can have everything. You can have money. You can have like a beautiful home. But when this is touched, none of that means anything. It's
That's
like
true.
Wow, what the core longing is not being met in a way.
Yes. That's how it feels, and then everything around falls away. It has no meaning. It has no
meaning. Yeah.
When this is not really solved.
Yeah. And to me, I would say it's not a question of solving. It's a question of letting itself reveal itself. Because
but when it can reveal, and then another possibility is there.
Opens, exactly.
And then it opens to that this can be integrated in awareness and peace. And that feels as dissolving or solving. It's like then it can come back to itself.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm so grateful, Isaac, for your whole clarity and the resonance in what you spoke with Isabella was just resonating, and touching. And by that I could fall deeper into this. Yeah.
Oh, happy. And thank you for bringing yourself so vulnerably into this inquiry.
Yeah, that's the invitation of who you are and what you have explored. So I'm deeply grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Esther. I don't hear you yet. You're still muted.
Now you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, it's a very interesting meeting today. I just want to rest with you, and I can relate with putting pressure on myself, and in this system it results with not sleeping, so it's quite tired. So.
Yeah, and let's just look at that. You know, who is it that puts the pressure? Is it you, or is that and does it make a difference when we say I'm putting pressure on myself, or when we see, look, there's something playing unconsciously that's putting pressure? Because for me, it makes a huge difference, that distinction.
Well, I started to believe
Who
that
would consciously? No, I mean, honestly, who would put pressure on themselves consciously?
Nobody.
Try it. Try to see if you can actually. Nobody would do that. It's so unconscious, means that nobody's doing it. It's a pattern, a habit, you could say, that's been around and playing and causing all kinds of difficulty for generations. Okay, great. Now we're starting to untangle it. We see it's not personal. It's not me doing it. And it's not putting it on myself. It's just a pattern playing that produces that sense of me and the sense of pressure and the sense of there's something wrong.
There's a lot to do.
All of that. Yeah.
To work and work harder and even harder.
Yeah, and it's existential in its nature.
Yeah.
It feels like, you know, our survival is threatened in it. It's an interesting mechanism. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, and it also feels like, you know, coming more, I mean, my system is quite, but there's also a part what's coming more here, so to say.
Beautiful. Yeah,
but that freaks me out from fear in a way.
Well, just to notice. And when you say it freaks me out, let's just be really, what we mean when we say that? Like, okay, I'm here, and then you notice some activity arises or something happens, and we translate it to mean that freaks me out.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
And I see it's also a young system with all the anger, energy, or fear.
Yeah, I mean, that's, all of that is involved whenever we're touching an existential pocket of information, because it's touching fight, flight, or freeze. It's touching, and that's all it is. It's just like, it's touching information that's existential in nature. It feels like we're going to die, so our system responds with that intensity.
Yes.
And if we look, we can see, wait, my existence is not threatened in this moment.
Yeah,
it feels.
You say it because I'm quite focused then. Oh, okay. Sun is still okay, not shining behind the clouds, but that's. And I see that it's. I see it's time, but I did it. I learned it myself when I was very young to look at what was nice in my life, or the good things. But it also feels like it was a way of dealing with it,
of coping with it, yeah. And so it's I mean, it's a useful step, but then it's like, how does the inquiry go deeper so that it can come to peace?
Yeah. And I don't,
sweetheart.
it's scary, but I don't want to step over anymore, and at the same time see the bright side, but then it's in a different way.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, maybe that's hope or future, I don't know. But
yeah, and it is, there's so many little movements, that I tell you, on our own is almost impossible to really recognize it. It's the benefit, you could say, of being together, where there's been a deep exploring, and that something can assist us to see through those little movements that cause so much difficulty.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. So we've come to the end of our time. I'm going to go back to gallery view for a moment and just take a moment to be with everybody. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Deep love. Okay. Thanks to Sylvie for hosting. Yeah. Night.
The angels are listening. God is listening. I'm listening. The angels
Bye, everyone. See you next week.
Yes, bye. Thanks you.
Thank you, Sylvie.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay. I sing this song when my dog was dying. Thank
Oh,
you.
really? Oh.
Yeah, so it touched me.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Sorry
you.
to hear.
Yeah. See you.
Bye-bye.
Now it's a good remembrance. Very in the
Yeah,
heart.
very emotional.
Very loving.
Yeah.
Okay. See you. My hair. Leaving. Bye.